Greetings, my name is Tim Johnson. This is Recovery, Strength, Hope and Courage. About a year ago this week, I made one of the hardest, but also one of the best decisions of my life, and that was to stop taking opiates. And I knew that it was going to be one of the greatest struggles of my life and one of the hardest things I'd ever done. I've been addicted to opiates for going on 25 years. There were small gaps in between. There was 2 rehabs. There was 2 years on Suboxone. And those opiates range from everything from heroin to morphine, codeine, hydrocodone, Percocet. I mean, over the years, it was more or less everything that was available or that I could get my hands on. But recently, when I came to Spain about 3 years ago, it was really to change all of that. But I got hooked into, as us addicts do, opiate addicts do, got hooked into tramadol, which was for sale over the counter in Spain. It's a Class A drug in Britain now, prescription only, and I think in America as well. But in Spain, it was sold openly over a pharmacy counter and very cheaply. You know, like you're talking about $2 or $3 for 30 odd tablets. And I soon got involved very, very deeply in them, and as these things do, even though I was in an idyllic life over here, I'd have to stop working because I'd had my hip replaced, and I'd retired over here to a beautiful flat with support of my family. But I got hooked in, and life deteriorated very rapidly over a 2 year period, which saw me sort of escalate as my tolerance increased to upwards of 30 tablets a day and more some days, almost to death. And I was drinking as well, which obviously, I was dicing with death nearly every day, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I lost once again, the respect of my family and my money. I was on my arse basically, but I was seriously ill, and my health, everything had suffered. Anyway, I made that momentous decision a year ago, the greatest decision of my life. And the only mistake I made at the time, when I look back, was that I carried on. I thought I could, and I thought I deserved and I could carry on drinking alcohol. Although I had no intention of taking any other mind-altering substance of any sort, I was going to stop the opiates cold turkey, even though I knew there was a danger of seizures, particularly with tramadol. I was ashamed and I wanted to stop, and I had a very good reason to stop. My daughter had announced they were getting married, her and her fiance, and it just woke me up. It woke up, inside of me, the desire to live and the desire to see my grandchildren if they come along, and to see my daughter married and taking her down the aisle, and my other daughter the same, and grabbing some dignity and some self-respect back as a man, and pride, and some respect from my wife that we're separated from at the moment. Just sort of grabbing my life back, as it were, and that was a strong, really strong desire. But I thought I could carry on drinking. And alcohol, alcohol's been a serious problem all my life, for longer than the opiates. I mean, we're talking right back to my sort of teens, late teens. I'm 57 now. And there's been occasions again when that's sort of stopped for a year or so, and in early on sort of my 30s, but sort of the last 15 to 20 years it's been constant. And of course, over here in Spain, the culture was massively geared towards sort of tapas, alcohol party, any time of day or night, and it was just another excuse for me to carry on. So that was the serious mistake I made when I stopped the opiates, and it was only 2 months later. And when I get to a year, I'll make a video about that, and that'll be in 2 months. I'm 10 months clear of alcohol now. But the 2 months that I stopped opiates and was still drinking alcohol was still chaos, because the alcohol escalated and nearly killed me as well. But the opiates, I mean, it would never have happened without stopping the opiates a year ago. And and really, what I've come on here to tell you, well, it's to thank you all to start with, and thank all of those of you who have given me support over the last year. And if it hadn't been initially for the likes of finding this community and finding Ryan Donnelly initially, calmsupport.com, and then later on with the alcohol, Kevin O'Hara from Alcohol Mastery. Habits Unplugged now, he started a new website. If anyone's interested in that, he's an amazing man. Well, both of them are amazing. Through them, I found this community, all you people, those of you who've subscribed, and those of you who occasionally watch my videos, or hopefully one or two of you that they may have helped along the way. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because without your support, it's very, very difficult. And that's not just the support of family, which was also extremely, obviously, important to me. It was the support of this community, which is a strong and loving community, and I respect and love you all for the help you've given me, and will never forget it. It's a message of hope, this, really, for everyone listening to it. To tell you that me, a man who was so set in his ways, and at the time I was 56, no one thought I could change in the way I've changed. But I wanted change, and this is the crux of it, really. The reason to change and the desire to change is immense, and you have to be very, very strong. There's no beating about the bush, and this is not blowing any trumpet, because many people have done this. I'm not unique by any stretch of the imagination, but I was so set in my ways and set in my habits at my age. I'd resigned myself to sort of dying, basically, and curling up. And I was a walking corpse. There's no doubt about it. I didn't feel, or I had no emotions. I had no sense of self-esteem, no respect for myself, no respect for anything. Or I was selfish, a liar, a cheat. All of the things that addiction makes us, all those horrible things. And people avoided me, and I was pessimistic and negative, and my whole world was just like a black cloud, basically hanging over it. It was just like without exaggerating, a living death. And the decision to change is key. The desire to change is key. It's no good pussyfooting about with this. I've got to fight for your life, and getting through those early months is bloody hard. There's no doubt about it. There's your brain is wired in a way with drugs. The chemicals aren't being produced in your brain, as you know, and you're in a cloud of black depression, and every fibre in your body is telling you to go back, and just taking this pill or whatever, having this drink, it is gonna stop you feeling like you're feeling. And that's true for the first sort of 3-4 months. But you batter into yourself these habits, and you rewire. Neuroplasticity in your brain is a very real and proven thing. And a case of and habits, good habits and good choices will rewire your brain so that they become the norm, and positivity eventually becomes the norm. And those early months aren't easy, and I just plead with anyone who's in those early months and who's struggling to hang tough and stay strong and just hold on. I always say this: just hold on, because it will get better. And life, a year later, 12 months later, all right, 10 months with the alcohol, but we'll say 10 months, but a year from opiates. But it doesn't really matter, because you stop counting. And the only reason that I really thought about was this, because the date came up on my computer, and I thought, bloody hell, I look back at that, and that's the date that I stopped taking opiates, and that day was a very difficult and emotional and hard day, and the best day of my life in one way, because it's led me down this path. And I'm saying this is a video of hope, because my life now, in so many ways, in ways that I can't begin to describe. I'm talking about, not just talking about health, which is immeasurably better, my appearance, my self-respect, my self-esteem, I never have negative thoughts anymore because I don't allow them. I only allow optimism into my life and positivity into my life. And that becomes a habit as well. And you attract it, and then you start attracting people, and the relationships start to come back into your life, and the respect. And slowly but surely, like especially with the likes of my children who are now phoning me for advice again and talking to me every day, and for weeks sometimes I'd never heard from them, and it wasn't that they didn't care or didn't love me. It was just they didn't want any more hurt and in their lives. And same with my wife. And now we speak a couple of times a week, and we're constantly in touch, almost every day. And now these relationships are growing back. Maybe they'll never be the same as they were from originally, but they're growing better and stronger every single day as they see me in this journey and how I am in this journey. And I hate to use the word journey because it's a bit of a cliche, but it's a long old track this first year. But once you get past those first 3 to 5 months, you literally, and if you're doing the right things, I hasten to add, and cutting alcohol out is one of them. You've got to be strong about this because you just can't allow any of those thoughts or might because the thoughts about alcohol revolve around the same thoughts about drugs. It's that desire to reward, that reward system in your brain, and you have to go back to natural life to start rewarding that system in your brain again. And that's with the natural things like diet and exercise. Now, I know everyone hates it. The exercise is hard, but you've got to be disciplined in your recovery as well as determined, disciplined and determined. And you will reach what I call the 3 C's, which I've reached now in my life. And I'm still a work in progress, as I keep saying. And every day I try to grow a bit, to become a better person, to be kind, to give something back to someone, to help someone who's in need in some way. Every single day I try to do that and spread some positivity. And that gives me a great feeling of self-esteem and achievement. And if you want feel good chemicals, look no further than that because that releases tons of it into your brain. But diet and exercise, discipline, those things are truly what you put into your body is what you'll get out of your body. You put shit in, your body will be shit. I'm not just talking about weight here. I'm talking about mood, energy, you know, everything about your life revolves around what you put into your body and also how you move your body and the exercise you take, meditation, all these things, and I'm learning every day. That's another one of my disciplines. I try to learn something off someone who's, better here, more inspires me every single day. I try to learn off them and pick up things that will help me in my recovery. And, you know, the 3 C's I've reached now, and that's calmness, clarity, and contentedness. And I feel those things on a daily basis, on a second to second basis, because I live my life in the now, it's something I've never been able to do, but through various forms of meditation, stuff like that, and through diet, through exercise, through positive living, through giving back, through all these things, communicating and asking for help when you need it and support and all the rest of it, then I've discovered these 3 things in a second by second basis. And I love my life. Trust me, I've never been happier in my life, never been fitter, healthier, more content in my skin. I can honestly say that I really do like myself and love myself at the moment, at the moment and from now on, and it'll only grow. And the more I continue doing what I'm doing, that will happen. And the same for you. So don't give up. Please don't give up. This is a message of hope for you. If I can do this with the background I've had and the length of time that I was, living a life as a living corpse, as I say, and addicted to this shit, you know, but stop everything. Go for this. Go for the clean option because it's the only way, really, and it'll guarantee you never go back. And I never have a thought about pills or alcohol or drugs of any sort. I don't even take ibuprofen because I don't need to now because my diet keeps down my anti-inflammatories anyway, and I don't have pain. I move my body every day. So I certainly don't have mental pain because I am calm, and I am clear and I am content. And this is not blowing my own trumpet. This has been a hard and tough year of discipline, determination, 100% commitment, because that's what it takes. But once you reach this point, once you reach that point, and you'll know when it is, and for me it was at about sort of 6 months. You'll know that that's it forever. This is the lifestyle and the way you're going to live, the habitual way you're going to live for the rest of your life. And it'll only bring you peace, contentedness, and happiness and positivity. Trust me. Never go back, never give up, and seize the day. Don't forget, today, if you're struggling, if you're in addiction, if you're in recovery, the early stages of, and you're thinking about slipping back, and you're thinking about giving up, don't give up. Do something, distract yourself, think about what it's going to be like in the future when it's behind you, and it will be behind you. Trust me, because I thought the same thing as you. In those first 3 months, I wanted to give up. I wanted to give up in withdrawal. I wanted to give up early on, but I wouldn't allow it to happen. And once you pass that period, and once your brain starts rewiring and the chemicals start to fire again in your brain with the lifestyle you're pursuing, then it all unfolds and becomes worthwhile, and you start to understand why you're alive, what you're here for. And once you start breaking into that, then the sky's the limit, and you will find real true contentedness and happiness within yourself, within your relationships, within your life, within your career, within your family life, within yourself as a parent, as a husband, as a wife, as a human being. And, thank you again for all your support and all your help. If you like what I do, and if you like all my other, I've got 60 odd videos on about, and it shows your journey from the 1st of January, when I'd already been clean from alcohol anyway for a couple, for a couple of months, and 2 3 months I think, and when I started these. But you see the change, because I was struggling then in January. You'll see the change, as because I can see it, and I certainly feel it. So don't give up, stay strong, hold on, and seize the day, because today is the day that you can change your life for the better, and just continue in the fight, because life is worth it, life is good, life is short. And don't forget, life's not about how many breaths you take, it's about how many moments take your breath away. That's what's important. Live every second and love every second. I love you all, much love to you all. Bye bye.